pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to the Vlog-A-Thon 4.0. And now for this partition in the Vlog-A-Thon 4.0, I gotta say that, well, being that I am in fact getting much closer with every new vlog that I have coming up here on the Vlog-A-Thon itself, I will in fact have to confirm first thing that there might not be a Vlog-A-Thon 5.0 for a while. And it's mainly because of all the things that I've already talked about. I really don't need to start touching base with people as often as possible, because a lot of people aren't really into repetitive and boring sort of content. But I am in fact doing what I possibly can to avoid having those kind of things being put up on my channel. Not at all. So I would like to talk about the last 20 years of my whole entire life, because while complaints about the things that have been happening about the entire year of 2020 are still on the rise, and there really is a lot out there that, well, we can never truly avoid, I will have to say that I feel like I'd much rather stay behind these closed walls and doors and also windows, even though I have a few open right now, which is probably the reason why you can hear the background pretty closely. Like, well, yeah, it's probably obvious that I'm in fact sitting next to a couple open windows here and there, and I'm also letting fresh air in just because, well, this room has kind of been charred with tobacco smoke. No pressure, but I just hate that. And my lungs cannot accept tobacco, apparently. Out of all the things that I could possibly get in my system, tobacco is one of those things that thousands of people have every day, but apparently I do not. Don't ask me why or how, but it is what it is. But I will say that the last 20 years of my life have really changed me. From the best to the worst. I'm just not entirely sure about how exactly I should explain all of this, but starting in 2000, really, the time where a new millennium is upon us, a new year is upon us, a new decade is upon us, a new century is upon us, and I mean, so many things have taken place. January 1st, 2000, of course, was a big time in our lives. It was a time of a lifetime. No one could ever experience something like that ever again. And even if we were, in fact, able to reach December 31, 2999, I gotta say that, well, having a real-life Futurama take place, I just can't be sure if that's actually gonna happen at some point. We might have to wait and see. But starting with the year 2000, of course, there was my famous trip to Hawaii in March 2000, so it's been nearly 21 years since that happened. And we also can't forget the fact that, well, the same year in 2000, we had a lot of other things taking place. Of course, my first birthday happened, all that good stuff. But 2001 was when things started to get a bit more creepier and eventually a bit more terrorizing, if you will. 2001 would probably be best recognized throughout the whole year for a couple of things. It's pretty much the year that Planet of the Apes had been remade and then released into the world, starring Mark Wahlberg. But I just can't really seem to at least say that it was a good film. Even if it was, in fact, just a good film from the year 2001, I'm just not really sure. But we also can't forget the fact that, well, 2001 would also be best known, well, for the Plymouth Motor Company becoming defunct, as well as the release of a pretty horrendous, well, Ben Stiller film, Zoolander. Yeah. Not to mention the release of Michael Jackson's album Invisible. Invincible, of course, is still one of my favorite albums from Michael Jackson to date, alongside Dangerous and History. Those two are like my all-time favorite out of all the Michael Jackson albums out there. But if there's one thing out there that pretty much is most memorable by today's standards, it'd be the 9/11 attacks on America. 2996 people had died, and a lot more were injured. So many things have happened. But of course, the 9/11 attacks were just one thing out there that we had that Who in their right mind would dare to forget such a thing? I probably know that I might, because, well, that's just what age can do to you. If I could even forget about what to say to the camera, well, it's quite obvious that I have, actually. If you can't really find out that I'm delaying myself quite a bit, or staying silent for a moment, then that's an obvious sign about how I'm pretty much just behind on what to say. Yeah, I just did it again, right there. I really need to exercise myself, but anyways, the years are 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and right here. We're getting close to the end of 2020. This whole entire year has been recognized for so many things that have already happened. Just this year alone. This year was when a virus appeared, took hundreds upon thousands of lives in this country alone, and many more throughout the world. And yet, I'm very surprised. Not many people out there just care about this at all. I'm kind of livid at this point. But I'm doing what I can to be professional around here, because I got so many people now that are watching my channel left and right. So I'm doing what I can to expertly communicate with every one of y'all out there, but I just can't really be sure how good am I with containing myself, because with all the stress that's come around, with all the rage, all the pain, the violence and the like that's happened, I just can't stand this. I'd rather move out of this planet and go live somewhere else. Now, this ain't a rant. This is, in fact, a fact of mine. I'd much rather go put on a new tech spacesuit, get in a flippin' rocket, and get on out of this atmosphere. I couldn't possibly make any of this stuff up or lie about anyone out there, because it's been nearly 3 years. I've gone out without telling a single lie or having anything secretive, because that's just the way I am nowadays. I'm doing what I can to be a much better person, and I'm also going to shift as much of my focus as I can to my work, to myself, and to so many other things in life. I just don't really know how we're all going to have to hang in here for as long as possible. If we are going to have to hang in there for this point on, then well, I just can't really be certain about why I would even think to stay here any longer. I don't care if it's here in this town, this county, this state, this province, this country, this hemisphere, this continent, this planet, this solar system, this galaxy, and the whole freaking universe! Yeah. Well, thank goodness I got that out of my system. Wow. Oh man, I'm feeling kind of lightheaded. You know what though? All of this is just worth it. Because I really want to prove a point that I cannot stress enough. That we're all going to be facing this stuff probably for a long time. It doesn't matter if we're going to have a vaccine right away, or if there's going to be 1 year from now. It just doesn't matter anymore. Because the truth is, we have a virus on this planet. It's a hybrid between SARS and the likes of the influenza virus, pneumonia, and AIDS. Those are, in fact, the facts. I mean, this virus is comparable to the likes of the symptoms that originate from those other viruses. This is, in fact, just a hybrid containing each and every one of these pieces of sicknesses that we don't really get much anymore. The causes of pneumonia and HIV/AIDS and SARS, it's kind of difficult to tell because, well, since many of these viruses from way back in the day have, well, they've been around for a long time, but compared to this, nCoV is not like any of them. Not even close. It may harbor some of the same possible effects or symptoms that you might get from any of those, but this is nothing. like any of them. Nothing at all like them. I mean, if people can't get the facts through their heads, then well, again, I don't see any point in wanting to live in the same country or the same hemisphere, planet, galaxy, or even universe. I'm dead serious about all of this. As if I haven't already said dead serious enough. I mean, this is just how bad the whole thing is. This is how terrible things have become. Although I am just still going to imply that 2020 really is not the worst year on Earth ever to be known in history. We've had way worse years than this. Especially 2001 for the 9/11 attacks. Especially 2008 with the financial crisis and economic downfall. Especially in, well, by my standards, 2013 through 2016 were also pretty bad for me. Mainly because of the fact that I had foreign accent syndrome, in which I sounded like someone out of Surrey, England. But I really do not want to keep referring to that because it makes me sick. Literally. I feel like I want to freaking vomit. Just by thinking about that stuff. I mean, I might be getting a headache right now, so I'm going to try to, close this video off right away and get some anti-inflammatories or something before I continue with this, because I'm stressed right now from all this stuff that people just have no clear knowledge or clue about. And yet to know that I'm one of the only ones out there who knows exactly what's going on and knows what to do about any of this. But yet, I feel like I'm the only person that's here that has all of this information. I mean, if anyone out there would want to get down to the comment section and talk with me on that stuff, then well, that's perfectly fine. But you know what? I'm just going to have to go take a break for right now. So if you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.